So for turning corners, so you don't have to just run off the edge and then come back on, and then you'd have that chain kind of to deal with, what we're going to do is just show you how to get around a corner without stopping. So if you're cutting something off, oftentimes what I'm going to do is at the bottom, I'm going to kind of pre-cut a little notch. We're going to serge up to the point where my needles go off this edge by 1 stitch. So if you just kind of watch down in here, that's what I'm watching for. I'm going to just slide this off to the side. We're cutting a little bit off. 1 stitch off. Let's take one more. There it is. Bring my needles up. I'm going to bring my presser foot up. Now, those last few stitches are still on the kind of the pins of the throat plate. So just go ahead, slide that fabric back just a little bit, and then bring this over into position. This little guy will be nicely ready to be cut in just a second. And then move the fabric so that it's just below the needles. Now, here's a little trick. When you're looking at your serger from the front here, you're going to notice that those needles, it looks like they're going to catch, but they might not. So sometimes I'll come over here and look from the side. By looking from the side, you'll notice those needles are kind of at an angle, and you're like, oh wow, that's not going to work. So you can adjust them, and then you can lower down the presser foot, bring those needles down, and you might even just adjust just a little bit so they come right into the fabric, right at the edge. The other thing to do is before you stitch, because you pulled the fabric away and kind of brought it around, there's some extra threads down here kind of hanging out. Come up to where your spools are and kind of pull them gently. Again, you can do it with the presser foot up, it's a little easier. Pull the threads out above the top part here. I'm just kind of giving them a little tug. It's kind of just taking those threads and making them a little bit tighter. Then once you go ahead and stitch, your knife's going to catch right where you kind of pre-cut, and now you have a perfectly turned corner. All right? So with a little bit of practice, that will get easier. And then when you go all the way around a piece, then you only have to deal with one tail at the very end. That's where some fray check will come in, and then a little clip. You can also tie a knot here. You can take a tapestry needle and kind of weave it back up in between, fray check it, and then clip it short. So lots of different ways to end an edge, especially if you're going around the outside of maybe a burp cloth, a baby blanket, napkins for the table, dinner napkins. So then again, you're only dealing with having one left tail instead of one at every corner.